Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ladies Power Lunch. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you hadn't heard, it's that time of the year again when we will be presenting to you our Ladies Power Lunch Fall Summit. Our Fall Summit presenters are all the authors of our upcoming Ladies Power Lunch Anthology book, for which I'm so excited. It's called Be the Beacon. And one of the outstanding authors who's also going to be one of the workshop facilitators on our upcoming summit is Dr. Kristi Borst, and she is here with us today. We actually have the doctor in the house. I'm really excited. Guys, you get two doctors for the price of one this morning. That's value. That's all I have to say about that. So, Kristi, welcome. I'm so pleased that you said yes to being a part of our anthology, that you're going to be a part of our launch for our Ladies Power Lunch Anthology, Be the Beacon. And I would love to share with our audience the amazing things that you bring to the world. Can you just share with us who you are and what it is that you do?
Oh, thank you, Dr. Davia. So Be the Beacon really is one of the, I guess, mantras or teaching modalities or methods I use in my spiritual energy healing practice. Empaths tend to be sponges, but when we be the beacon, we don't need to feel and go into other people's stuff that maybe they need to go into. So to kind of look at the broader picture, like everyone else, I am an eternal being of love and light, having a human experience as Kristi. And I'm embracing that more and more and realizing how the boxes and the labels and even the titles that I've embraced in much of my adult life were really limiting me. And now I am really connected with who I'm here to be. And that is partially an emotional transformer for myself and the highest good, humanity, the collective. And I'm also helping other people to release the stuck emotions, traumas, self-limiting beliefs, ancestral stories, all those things that lead us to live a smaller life than who we're here to be.
Beautiful. I love the way you explain that you're Christy, but you're having a human experience. That's so beautiful. I really, really do enjoy looking at life from that perspective. That's really, really outstanding. So, you practice different modalities to help your clients to shine their light and to also make sure that you're protecting the beacon that is you as an empath. I ask this question of almost every person who comes on the show with us. If you could reach your arms out around us and hug us all in the world and just share with us one little piece of advice that you know would make our lives so much better, what would that be?
So there's a lot of things in this world that are really presented to us in a topsy-turvy manner. We are almost taught to fear challenge, to hide from our wounds, um, to push things down and not look at them. But what I have found through this spiritual practice that I'm using is that challenge is really opportunity. And some of these shadowy places that we are pushing away or hiding are actually portals, if you will, or gateways to
Mm,
leveling up to more joy, more wellness, more authenticity, and more of a connection to that expansive self as love and light. It's actually those things that are shielding us from that experience, and the fear of them keeps us from getting there.
So what I'm hearing is you're suggesting, perhaps encouraging us to embrace the things that we are fearing.
Yes.
Am I getting that right?
So it's actually, yes. So I'm trying to think of an
Because I'm
example. Let me
afraid
just,
of embracing the things that I'm afraid of.
so let's just say, let's have an example. So for me, this is not so true anymore, but one of my fears or concerns or self-limiting beliefs, if you will, would be, what do other people think of me?
Okay.
And that was rooted in my story, which I share in Be the Beacon, of being shut down from this um, spiritual gift that I have of healing. And so that process led me to not really be my true self. So when you can't be your true self, you have to look around you and see, who do I have to be to fit in or to be accepted or whatever. So to worry about what other people think of you
Mhm.
can be limiting, especially when you're here to be something that's unusual. And we're all here to be our unique light. So if we're worried about what other people are thinking, it's almost like sabotaging that. So that's just one example of how the fear is almost preposterous.
I
If
love
I'm
that.
worried about what other people are thinking about me, I can't be this person that I'm here to be. I'm here to stand out. I'm here to shine. I'm here to be woo woo. I'm here to be different. So that's just one example. So it's kind of looking at the things that we're fearing and asking ourselves why. Where did that story come from that I have to blend in, or I can't be myself, or whatever? So it's not like a fear of snakes, if you will, or a fear of something like that. It's more a fear of embracing who we are.
I I think this is such a timely message, Doctor, because so many of us are really trying to fit in with that status quo. A lot of us in our Ladies Power Lunch group, let's face it, we're square pegs. No round hole is ever going to fit us. It's not going to work. And we have spent, and I really include myself in that cohort. We have spent a lot of time trying diligently to fit ourselves into that round hole with our squareness. And you're right, it really does. Like Mina is saying over here in the Ladies Power Lunch group on the chat, it robs us of our joy. It robs us of our the fullest or the fullness of the human experience that we're here to participate in. I am truly, truly on board for what you're talking about. So
Can
when,
I make a
sure,
comment on that?
absolutely.
So Mina, I love that, because what we forget is that we have only our now moments. And what if, and this is what spirit, source shares with me, that our purpose is not to do. Our purpose is to be, and to be joy, to be love, to be light. Each of us has a vibe of joy, a vibe of love, a vibe of light that no one else can be. So we have to try to be, or try to find out what's keeping us from being in that vibe and be in it. So whether we're a grocery clerk, or we're, a princess, it
Like
doesn't
me.
matter. It doesn't matter, right? It's like being that presence in whatever
Yes.
you're doing. And if you're
Beautiful.
not, seeing why and calling it self-sabotage, really.
Yeah.
So good point.
I really, really enjoy the direction that this conversation is taking. Give us some advice though. I mean, it's well and good for us to recognize that we need to embrace some of these things that we're afraid of that might be holding us back from being the best and brightest beacon, shining our light in the way that we're intended to, which is really the depth that we're going to go into on our summit coming up on October 18th and 19th. But I just wonder, can you give us some do's and don'ts? Give us some practical ways that we can shine our light at our brightest.
Well, that's a pretty open-ended question. And it really varies for people or per person. You know, we all have our, um, I like to use the word stories. It's that, you know, that memory that we play out, um, our woundings.
Mhm.
I guess one of the things I like to share is awareness equals the power of choice equals the power of change. So I think probably the biggest thing to suggest, Dr. Davia, is to be present, to watch ourselves. I like to suggest to clients that they imagine they have their own little personal drone that's not in the mind, it's above the mind. And it's
Mm.
watching what we're thinking, what, you know, what stories we're enacting with, what are the things that tend to take us away from our light, that take us away from our joy, because some of those things are almost like 8-track tapes that are, you know, that they've been playing so long we don't even know they're playing. But once we become aware of them, then we can say, oh, wait a minute, I know how that makes me feel. Do I really want to engage with that? So once we start to become aware, then we start to see it as more of a choice. As we see it as a choice, then we can find other choices. Those choices were always there, but we were so on autopilot that we might not have seen them.
Wonderful. I love that idea of being the watcher. And it reminds me to invite everybody who's interested in being part of Ladies Power Lunch Book Club to be sure to sign up for the month of October, because for October, we're going to be talking about Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. That's going to be
Mm.
our discussion. And these are some of the principles that come out in this book about almost, yeah, like you have a drone just watching yourself and seeing without judgment, what is it that you're doing and feeling in each moment? And how does that relate to the big fears that might be holding you back from being your beacon? Excellent.
I think the other thing is that that presence or that being present is, again, it's that living in the now, it's that being in joy. Because if we're constantly thinking about what happened in the past, you know, thinking about mistakes, which I like to call mistakes, um, or we're worrying about the future, then we're missing this time, which is the time that we get to live. It's the time that we're experiencing, where, you know, hopefully, I almost like to think of us as, think of your energy. It's like not just you, it's going down into the earth, it's going out into the atmosphere. It's in your breath, you're breathing your essence out. Are you breathing out fear and anger and frustration, or are you spreading love out into the world? This is how we change the world, is as ourselves, through ourselves. So
Yes.
watch your vibe.
Yes.
shift how shift what's making you uncomfortable. And sometimes these woundings come from our childhood. And that's really what my forte is, because that's what I experienced. And um, that's the process that comes naturally for me, is to help people connect with the child self who remembered more of who we're here to be.
So tell us a little bit more about what you do and if you have any offerings right now that you'd like to share with us.
Okay, so I largely do one-to-one session work, whether it's in person or over the phone. And I have had a couple of people actually from Australia. So I'm kind of sending them vibes to check in here with your group. But yeah, so I do the one-to-one sessions. I offer packages. And it's very transformative. It's hard to explain what happens because, I'm channeling messages for that person. I'm connecting with various aspects of not only this physical reality, but also other timelines that we have and are experiencing. And As far as an offer, I have a sign up bonus for my email list, which is 4 simple steps for connecting with your heart centered peace. And it was actually kind of born from my own experience of opening and awakening and kind of coming to this place where I, kind of had a jump start to finding myself. I'm still finding myself. We're all on a continuum. Um, but people would say, get in your heart space. And I had no idea how to do that. And I would just try, but I didn't. So I have a little audio to help people do that physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And you can reach that by going to my website, which is Healing Resonance, the number 4.me/be the beacon. So Healing Resonance 4.me/be the beacon. And I can put that in the chat when we're done, or in the Facebook, whatever we call it, stream or comments. Oh,
That would be wonderful. You can go ahead and put that in the comments. And what about if people just want to see your website or they just want to reach out to you? How do they do that?
So there's that URL at the beginning, Healing Resonance 4.me is my website.
Okay.
I have a spiritual blog that's on there. I have a 14 episode podcast for expansion and kind of getting more in touch with these inner realms. Those are all linked on my website. In my chapter, I do mention my spiritual artwork, and this one wanted to be shown today.
Oh, beautiful.
This is called New Dawn. It's kind
Mm-hmm.
of hard to show with this.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. So that's, and also, on Facebook, I have a Facebook page for my business and for my personal self. But I think I had mentioned to you previously, I do post pretty much everything as public on Facebook. So,
Awesome. So people
but
can
I'd love
connect
to
with
connect
you.
with people that, want to know more.
Yes, and I really do get the sense from the comments in the chat that people are really resonating with the conversation that we're having today. Kristi, I'm really, really excited that you're an author in our upcoming Ladies Power Lunch Anthology, Be the Beacon. I'm even more ecstatic that we're going to be able to share you and your wisdom with the audience of our Be the Beacon launch, which is coming up, and it's going to be rolled right in with our fall summit. It's called Grow Smarter, Be the Beacon, and it's going to be on October 18th. and 19th, and you're going to be leading an outstanding workshop. Don't want to give too much of that away here, but I would invite people to connect with you to see just the amazing things that you're doing to help us to live our most fulfilled life and to be the beacon that we're here to be, and also to have more joy in our lives, which at the end of the day, isn't that the thing that we all want? Isn't that what we're all striving for? So thank you so much, Kristi. This has been an absolute pleasure. Thanks to everybody who's joined us over at Facebook, and I'll see you guys on the next show. Bye, everyone.